Will this road trip be the last chance the Rays have to turn it around?
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and we are Kevin and Ulysses.
We're lifelong Rays fans who have been podcasting about these Rays since 2019.
And on today's show, it's Takeaway Monday. The Rays lost the bookend games of the Dodgers series, and we also went to the game on Friday and got something from former Rays pitcher Paul Gervase. We'll discuss that later on in the show. In a few minutes, we'll listen to my takeaway on why the Rays' upcoming schedule will be anything but easy. But first, let's begin with Ulysses' takeaway on multiple in-game decisions that must be addressed from Sunday's game.
But first, we got to tell you that this episode is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5hourenergy.com today and use promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. Only valid through September 30th. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. Okay, Kevin.
Yeah, Ulysses, you are hot. I can tell it. You are just steaming at the Kevin Crash-isms.
I have a couple in-game decisions that that have to be addressed on Sunday's game. For example, Boyle being taken out. And by the way, these things that I'm going to be addressing are not results-based. So I know, for example, we've heard in the past people that work for the team with the microphone say, you're only saying that because you know the result.
Right.
I don't care about the result. I want to know the mechanisms of why you chose that. Because from this lens, it doesn't make sense. Boyle was doing a phenomenal job. He's taken out at 71 pitches. Now, he's taken out for Mason Englert after 5 innings of shutout baseball. My question is, was it pitch count precaution at 71 pitches? Is it fatigue? Is it a bullpen? Hey, we'd rather have Mason here with the ball because we don't know if Joe is going to be able to give us a 6. I don't know why he was taken out, because if it's an innings issue, I will tell you, in 2025, Joe Boyle has pitched a total of 95 innings. 2024, correct. 92. 2023, 133. 2022, 100 pitches. 100 innings, rather. So is it an innings thing with Joe Boyle? He's a 25-year-old guy who should be, by all accounts, healthy. Are you taking care of his innings? Because if you're saying, well, dude, in 2024, he only pitched 92 and he already has 95, like how much do you want to, go over? Okay, let's take a guy who came back from major surgery, Drew Rasmussen. He pitched less than 30 innings in 2024 at 28 and 2/3. And in the next year, they're saying 150 tops. So Drew Rasmussen is going 122 innings more than what he did last year. Coming back from major injury, why is Joe Boyle being taken out with 71 pitches in the 5th inning? With a lineup that's incredible, Kevin.
Yeah, I've got a couple thoughts. One, I think it is coming down to pitch count and pitch inning precaution, because they've seen time and time again where they force the issue on some starters and they have an elbow issue, an arm issue, a shoulder issue, whatever it may be. So I think they're being very judicious about Joe Boyle. And at the onset, didn't they originally say that, hey, we're going to try to do a tandem workaround with Drew Rasmussen and Joe Boyle? I mean, wasn't our expectation from the beginning that Joe Boyle was maybe going to be limited at 4 to 5 to 6 innings pitched?
Sure, but then now they've stopped the piggybacking after the All-Star game. So now he's starting his own games, Joe Boyle. Yeah. So the answer is what's going on?
I think they just want to be conservative. And I mean, frankly, the score was what? 0-0 at the time that he was taken out.
Yes.
This is going to sound a little tongue-in-cheek, but the Rays do not like to chase wins. And even when it's 0-0 against the Dodgers at home, later in the innings, you probably almost have to take that as a loss, knowing that the bullpen is going to have to get some action at some point. So again, I'm being kind of goofy with that comment, but
and that's where I want us to go. If that's the answer, then it makes sense why they went to Mason Englert and not Griffin Jax.
Yeah.
Why, with the top of the order coming in, when Mason Englert is pitching in the 7th inning, the first time they showed anybody with a ball in the bullpen warming up was when Freeman was up in the count 2-0 with 1 out and men on second and third. Because Ohtani got on, Betts got on, they both stole bases. So second and third with 1 out, 2-0 count to Freeman. And that's when the bullpen is up. So even at 0-0, you're not bringing in your best reliever with the top of the top of the order. And then you take so long to warm somebody up. And then to make matters worse, when the game's already down, that's when you bring Griffin Jax. So you can't tell me, well, we didn't want to use Griffin Jax in that situation. Why? He's a high leverage reliever with the top of the order, and you prefer Mason Englert. Yeah. You prefer Griffin Jax when you're already down and you don't chase wins. That's when I'm saying it's not really making sense, the mechanisms to what the in-game decisions are. I don't care about the result, but why are you making these decisions?
Yeah, that's what's really most head scratching. Is I understand the Joe Boyle move if their direction is pitch count, fatigue, innings limit. Hey, we don't want you throwing out more than 5 or 6 innings at a clip, whatever it may be. But to bring in Mason Englert right after that, Mason Englert to me is mop-up duty guy. He's got Kevin Kelly written all over it, in my opinion. I mean, I think
a little bit better. He's been a bit better, but it's not a guy I want to have face the top of the order, especially after he already gave you a clean. No, not a clean 6, but he already allowed a run. It's the not chasing wins thing, I think.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's kind of the situation that the Rays are in right now, and maybe they're thinking, which we'll get to in a little bit, is they have a very long road trip coming up, tough challenges coming up. We want to, make sure our guys are rested and ready to go. I think that, pitchers are caught up too much as it is, but that's the day and age that we're in right now.
It is. And the other big, I think the other Kevin Crash moment here was on the hitting side. You have an opportunity in the 9th inning and you pinch hit Johnny DeLuca for Tristan Gray. What's the thought process here? Is it matchup driven where you're saying, well, Tristan Gray is a lefty. I like him against this righty with Treinen up, or it's a confidence move of like, hey, Tristan, we believe in you. You're not just a body here. We believe that you can succeed in this role. What was the mechanism here? Because I will tell you that the bench at that moment was made up of Tristan Gray, Chandler Simpson, who has a finger issue. I know that you're going to talk about that later. Fortes, backup catcher, in Christopher Morel. Now, Treinen has been struggling in the last 7 games. Mm-hmm. He has like a 6.35 ERA in 6 innings pitched. He has like a 2.82 whip. So this is a guy who's struggling, a righty who's struggling. It's a guy also that against lefties and righties, he's getting hit. Against righties, he's getting hit even higher at 333. And he's allowing a higher whip at 214 than against lefties. So it seems like righties are having more success against Treinen. Why go with the lefty? With the lefty that only has 40 or so plate appearances in major leagues. So like, what is Christopher Morel's role in this team when Christopher Morel actually is hitting better against righties? I don't understand the situation. And when you tell me, well, he might not really do well against the stuff that Treinen is pushing. Treinen's biggest pitch is the sweeper. He throws it almost half the time, 48%. Mm-hmm. Morel is slugging 455 against the sweeper this year. So again, I don't care that Tristan Gray struck out because he was given a strike call that was egregious during the count. But
that's what happens with young players. They don't get the benefit of the doubt with the umpires.
Exactly. And again, a confidence issue is Trinan. Do you think Trinan know who Tristan Gray is? I would bet green skittles that he does not. I bet he knows the name Christopher Morel, though. It's just a little bit more of a different mechanic there, a dynamic rather. And I just don't understand, if you can't put Christopher Morel in that situation, what is Christopher Morel's role there? I do not understand this in-game decisions at all.
Yeah, a couple head scratching moves for sure. And with Chris Morel, maybe it's just the team's lost faith in his ability to do anything at this point, and they weren't able to ship him off at the trade deadline, or maybe hoping that he can get it together and then they get rid of him in the offseason. But the only thing I can think of is with Tristan Gray is, hey, you called him up, you want to try to give him some opportunities. And what was the score at that point?
It was 3-0, but men on first and third. So you're just hoping for a jack there. And Christopher Morel is that guy.
He's the better man to provide that for sure. But I go back to it. I think chasing wins, the likelihood of Chris Morel leaning into one as a pinch hitter. All right, let's give Tristan Gray a shot. Let's see if he can, find his way as a pinch hitter or find his way on this opportunity, because, and frankly, I think Tristan Gray, all honesty, is a quad A player. Like, he is not here for the long term, but we complain about, young guys not getting their opportunity, or guys getting called up but not getting their opportunity. Well, here's an opportunity to show something. What can you do with it? That's the only thing I can think of with that.
Sure. And if that's the case, then we have to go to the other side. Then what is Christopher Morel doing? Because if you do want to give the young guys, then give the young guys a lane here. Because then is he just a body too? Those two decisions really blew my mind there. Not results based, but why did you arrive at that decision? That would be great. And it would have been a really awesome situation to see those questions being asked. But alas, they were not. We have much more to discuss, though, on this fiery Locked On Rays Monday takeaway episode. But first, we got to tell you something very important on the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Are you feeling drained watching Rays baseball this season? Well, it's time to fuel up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This energizing shot might just be what you need to make it through 9 innings of Rays baseball. With bold grape, ginger, and lime flavors, it's like your favorite golf drink minus the alcohol. Perfect for sinking putts or enduring extra innings. Whether you're at Steinbrenner Field or on your couch, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers that extra boost to keep you alert even during those low-scoring pitchers' duels. So go ahead, visit 5hourenergy.com and use promo code LOCKEDONGOLF for 20% off your order. This offer is valid until September 30th on one order only and can't be combined with other promotions or subscription orders. So go ahead, use code LOCKEDONGOLF for 20% off. The series against the Dodgers was difficult to watch at times outside of what happened on Saturday. Thank you, Yandy Diaz. Thank you, Junior Caminero. More than two guys have to step up to help this ball club offensively. But the Rays are about to, or already have embarked on, a historically long road trip. They begin a 12-game, 14-day road trip. That is their longest since 2005. I made a typo on the notes here. 2005, not 2015. So they have Anaheim, Seattle, Sacramento, and San Francisco. So not only are you traveling all the way from Florida to California, or the West Coast, I should just say, but you also have the time zone change. And what do the Rays get when they come back home? They face the New York Yankees. So at this point, I mean, if we can find some way to split the 12-game road trip, or heck, 5 and 7, I would almost call that a win. I mean, where the Rays are positionally in the standings, we have to be honest about where this team's headed. And this is not a playoff team. And it gets even more challenging when you're without two key offensive players. Not sure when Chandler Simpson's going to get back, but he's been out of the lineup for several days now.
Yeah,
And
he
then
didn't
we
play in the
learned-
Dodger series, right? Because of the sprained, or not, just the finger issue
Right.
happened on the last day against New York, and then he didn't show up in the Dodger series.
Yeah, and even if he returns, is he going to be at 100% with that left index finger sprain? I mean, he's never a power guy, of course, but how does that translate to him holding the bat and making contact, bat on ball? And, is he a little bit more cautious with that as well?
Right.
And then we learn that Jonathan Aranda has a fractured left wrist, and he is on the 10-day IL, and the reports are that he could return possibly in late August or September. So pound for pound, I mean, outside of Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, your most consistent hitter, is out for the count for several weeks. And then Chandler Simpson, who knows what he's going to be or how long he's going to be out. We've immediately taken 200-300 hitters out of the lineup. And, I'm sure a portion of why the Rays struggled against the Dodgers was who the Dodgers are, who the Dodgers have on the mound. But the lineup gets much lighter when those two guys are taken out of it. And now at least the Rays have versatility on their side. So with Aranda out, you can slide in Brandon Lau at first. You can slide in Yandy Diaz at first. But it's still, it's going to make it, I think, really, really tough for runs to score by, just with these two guys out of the equation for who knows how long.
It's a team that, just lost an all-star, possibly their best all-star of 2025. At least the most, not reliable, but the most constant for sure has been Jonathan Aranda. So yeah, obviously it's going to hurt. And the way that they said it's going to take a while, I mean, that's August gone. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not coming back. So then you're saying, okay, September, maybe we could have him. Okay. What does this offense look like without 4 weeks of Jonathan Aranda? Well, we just got a little taste of
a lot of goose eggs, I think, is what we're going to be in store for. Because again,
well, that was it this weekend, wasn't it? I mean, it's just shutouts for you, shutouts for them, and shutouts for us. Like, again, we just had a little taste of what Brandon Lau missing in the lineup was. And I think the Rays went, 4-12 without Brandon Lau? It could be something similar with Jonathan Aranda. And with this long road trip, Kevin, I understand where you're coming from with 5-7 or 6-6. I think that's if you just want to keep up with the way you've been playing. But if this is the last chance that you have to make a push, you have to go 8-4 or something like that to really make a dent, because you're running out of games, man. So if you really believe that this team can make it to October, you gotta do something that wows us. And do you think this team has something right now in the chamber that can wow us for the next 12 games?
No, I really don't. Even with some easier opponents, namely the Angels and, well, I guess the Athletics. I'm not going to say Oakland, but even then on the road, I mean, those teams, the Angels are a little bit worse than the Rays, but it's not like they're the worst team in baseball. Like, they're kind of in the same podium of mediocrity, if you will. And when you take out a guy like Jonathan Aranda, that, in my opinion, changes the complexion of the lineup drastically. I mean, I just want to live in a day and age where Aranda's in at the same time, Brandon Lau's in at the same time, Yandy Diaz is in at the same time, Junior Camanero's in at the same time. And
we saw that. And they went 24-9.
Yeah, that was nice, but we can't have nice things for a full season, evidently.
Evidently.
But Jonathan Aranda, even if he returns, say, at the very end of August or early September, we know how wrist issues saps a guy's power. So, even when he returns and say the Rays are in a push or a position to make the playoffs, I would venture to say don't bank that much on Jonathan Aranda being able to contribute all that much, just because we've seen it time and time again with guys who have those types of injuries. And with Chandler Simpson, I mean, you hope he's back sooner than later. But without him, again, you're losing a 300 hitter with 30 plus stolen bases that you don't you don't necessarily have to rely on the long ball to win a game or to manufacture runs. So they just lost, they're without presently, as of today, two key components. And you hope that DeLuca is able to keep it up, Mangum's able to keep it up, and these other guys are able to keep it up. But again, you're going on a long road trip. Guys are going to need a break. Guys are going to be tired. Guys are going to be exhausted. And how does that impact? I would like to see how this team performs at the tail end of this road trip. What is the direction of this squad?
Yeah, this road trip without Aranda and maybe a not 100% Chandler Simpson is definitely going to be a very big test and might be their final test. So yeah, we want to hear it in the comments. Do you still see the Rays playing in October?
Yeah.
Is this the last chance? We want to hear you guys on YouTube for sure in the comment box.
Yeah. And it could be a little bit mitigated if, and again, I'm not upset that Danny Jansen's no longer on the roster, but we don't know the major league power numbers of what Hunter Fiducia will provide. Nick Fortes, we know, isn't a home run hitter. So you might have been able to skate by a little bit with a Danny Jansen providing a home run at the bottom of the order or something like that. But now, as far as I know, we don't really have
power
at the catcher position. So that's another thing. So really, I mean, there's nothing more that Yandy Diaz can do. There's nothing more that Junior Caminero can do. It's on guys like Chris Morel, who we can't really count on, and Josh Lowe to step up, plus the auxiliary pieces.
We have much more to discuss, including our Friday game attendance at the Stein. But first,
the experience.
Yeah. But first, we got to tell you something very important on the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right. As we know, summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel, it is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little bit more thrilling? Well, with FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. We know all about that in the state of Florida, don't we? If you are new to FanDuel, did you know that new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins? So go ahead, open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started.
So, Kevin, we went to the game on Friday.
Yes, we did.
Standing room only, so $20 tickets. That is such a great deal. If you haven't done it yet, your legs are going to maybe say, "Why did we do this?" Once you got home, but you get a good value for those $20. Now,
well, if you get there early enough, you might be able to commandeer a table, and there's bar areas and some seating sections on the concourse, I guess, that you can cozy up to. But if you really want to watch the action and you don't get there quite on time or right when the game starts, you're going to be standing for those 9 innings in the heat. But I will say, yes, it was hot, but it's not like the sun was totally beating down on us. And I think the Rays made a smart play of having, games start at 7:30 for as many nights as possible. So that worked out. What really stood out to me, and it's not a surprise, it even happens when the Rays are playing at Tropicana Field, just where did all these LA Dodgers fans come from? Are they legitimately from California, or have they been bandwagoning for some time now?
I don't disagree that there might be some bandwagoning fans happening there. We did talk to a very cool Dodgers fan throughout the game. He was standing next to us. He had moved, obviously, during COVID 2021. Yes. So I'm sure that there's a bunch like that. But all of us as a collective 10,046 people, because it was a sellout, we could all agree on one thing, is that we were all sweating. We were all sweating. And I think the 10,046 people would have loved to have a Tropicana Field with its forever 72 degrees during the summertime. It's sorely missed, man, because yes, do we still have a great time? Absolutely. Is it kind of fun to sweat during the ball game? Sure, at some level. There's a quota there. What I saw from social media on Sunday's game was that it was disgusting. It was unreal. So, I mean, again, that's a noon game. So imagine that. That's that. I went to a noon game against the Athletics, and wow, it was rough. So we all miss Tropicana Field when we start sweating at the Stein for sure.
Yes. And hey, we'll be back at Tropicana Field next year if things go to plan. And this is a little hint to the new ownership group for the Rays when it comes time to build that new stadium. It cannot be completely outdoors. With the rain, the heat, the thunderstorms, everything that transpires during the summer months and beyond in Tampa Bay. You must have, whether it's a retractable roof or fully enclosed roof, something has to give.
And we should say we understand that the Rays are doing their best out of what was a crappy situation. They've got the fans with the mist. That's cool. They got you can bring a water bottle, not stainless steel though. Make it plastic. You can refill your water. So they're doing the best they can, but it's still a lot. But
I mean, you could tell Clayton Kershaw was sweating like crazy on Friday.
I mean, he always does, but my goodness, that was like he must have.
It didn't matter though. He still dealt like per
like a Hall of Famer. I will say, even though we sweat it and we lost, and there was not a lot of reasons to cheer, there was a reason to cheer for us particularly because around the 7th, 8th inning, we noticed a former Ray in the bullpen, not warming up, but just like, throwing a little baseball around with his hands and watching the game on the rail. And that's Paul Gervase.
Yes.
Now, Paul Gervase, I think, did not pitch more than 10 innings with the Rays.
Yeah, it was very you could have easily missed him if you weren't watching every game. And even if you were, you probably missed him too.
Exactly. Tall guy. But we kind of had some fun with him, and we were trying to interact with him throughout the last couple innings of the game. And well, wouldn't you know it, when the Dodgers won, we gave it a last shot and said, "Hey, Paul, can you give us a ball?" And the dude smiled, finally looked up at us and goes, "Sure," throws it at us. And boy, we got it, Kev.
Yep.
Right here.
That's what happens. Positive heckling, I think, is the term. We were not being critical. We were not being mean. We were not being nasty. We were just, getting his attention in a good way. And I think he may have laughed when we weren't looking. I think he enjoyed it enough to give us a game ball. So, maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe that's how you get a bullpen guy from your team or the opposing team to give you something, is do some, lighthearted back and forth a little bit. Again, nothing mean or nasty, just, you got to be a little bit creative and you got to grab their attention. And that, I think, is exactly what we did. The other thing too is, it's just, we were talking about it on Friday, just the riches that the Dodgers have, the front office smarts of Andrew Friedman, plus the budget to boot, that allows you to have multiple Hall of Famers on your roster.
It's a video game. It's a video game roster.
Yeah, it really is. And then you add on to the fact that, these guys probably not Hall of Famers, but former Rays, Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell. It's like, I am a little bit jealous as to what they've got going on. And again, I think that goes back a little bit to the idea that, hey, even when it's 1-0 or 0-0 or 3-0, well, why chase wins at this point?
Well, and that's the thing that angers me. And I know that we're almost out, but that's the thing that angers me, because if a 0-0, you're not willing to chase the win, then what are we doing here as a fandom, as a sport? If 0-0 against a very tough team, you're like, well, we've lost this one, then I just don't partake in that Excel spreadsheet knowledge. I don't, and I will never.
I hear you. All right. Put it in the comments what you think. Where are the Rays at right now? 55
and 58. Yeah, I want to hear you guys. Were those in-game decisions? Did you agree with them? Not the result-based, How did they get to the in-game decisions? Did you agree with both the pitching one and the hitting one I described in segment 1? Number 2, do you think the Rays have their last chance here in the 12-game road trip, if they're able to or not? We want to hear you guys in the comments.
Yes, we do. In the meantime, thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night, all season long. Local analysis brought to you on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to those podcasts.